What's going on, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the Rated C podcast. This is your host, Cristopher Zamora. Welcome to another episode. So today I wanted to speak to you about episode 8 and 9 from The Last of Us TV show. Season 1 is officially done for The Last of Us, guys. And I have to say, I have some things to talk about for the show. So let's start with episode 8. To be honest, I have to say that this was the best episode. This is the second best episode from what they have shown so far. I think the winter episode was probably the best segment in the video game and one of the best for the TV show. In this episode, Ellie had to find a way to survive without Joel because Joel actually got stabbed on episode 6, I believe. In this episode, she had to think for herself. Even though she's 13 years old on this time period, she had to learn how to survive, how to hunt. And so that's what she did. On the other side of the coin, we actually got to find out David. This guy was supposedly a cult leader in the actual TV show. They didn't made him out to be like that on the video game. Actually, he was like a religious person, I guess. He's a religious person in the TV show, and on the video game, he was just like a survivor. That was just something new that they added. Oh, and by the way, Troy Baker actually came out on this episode. And also the actress who played as Ellie as well. She came out on episode 9 as Ellie's mom. But before we go any further with episode 9, let's talk about episode 8. These people, they're survivors as well, like any other group on The Last of Us. But something is different about them. David is actually feeding them people. They're actual cannibals. I doubt that the survivors who were on David's group knew that they were eating other people. Like the people who are not the right-hand man for David, they did not know that they were eating people. Like, for example, I believe the part where they mentioned when there was a man that actually died and there was this little girl crying, it was the father of the little girl, and they were speaking about what were they going to do with the body and if they were ever going to bury it. David said that they were going to plan on burying it to spring, but since they were in the winter time and they needed to eat, they just ate him, man, without them ever noticing it. I don't think they never noticed it. But yeah, that was a crazy part. And also the part where Ellie, she was trying to survive. They actually got the same parts like how they did on the video game when she was chasing the bunny. No, actually when she was just chasing the deer. She never actually did kill a bunny, I believe, on the TV show. But on the video game, she actually did. I believe it was right that they kept it the same, like how she actually killed the deer and she went after it. Like, she went after it by looking at the blood trail they had for the deer. And so the deer actually died, and that's when Ellie, she actually got to see David and his right-hand man, which is Troy Baker's character. Ellie just only wanted medicine because she wanted to heal Joel. But since the right-hand man of David had needed to go back to his camp to get the medicine, the only way that they could survive the winter was that they needed to build their own fire together, David and Ellie. And so that's what they did. And then that's when like a few minutes later, they were just speaking, and David mentioned that he sent some man to go grab food from a different place, and like probably two of them that of the men that he sent never came back. And so one of them that actually did came back mentioned to David that there was this crazy man with a little girl just going around the country. And that's when David and even Ellie should figure out that he was talking about her. Yeah. And that's when Ellie left. And on the next day, David and his group, they went after Ellie. Like, he knew that they were staying near where his group was. So that's how Ellie needed to find a way to get out of there and just lead them away from where Joel was healing. And so she tried to do that, but one of them actually did shot the horse. It's crazy, man. A horse, man. You shot a horse. And so she actually did get caught. But before she actually went off and actually tried to lead them away from where they were staying, she told Joel that he needed to wake up and that there were people around them. And the good thing is that Joel actually did wake up on time, because if he didn't, that would have been the end for him. Yeah, man. That would have been the end for Joel if he never actually woke up. And actually, they kept almost the same thing like how it was on the video game as well. Ellie was trapped. It was a jail cell that they put her in, like how it was on the video game. And the part as well where she actually bit the guy's hand and she was trying to go for the keys. They kept that same part as well when they were fighting, and David actually hit Ellie with the jail cell. Like, yeah, it was just crazy. That's cool that they actually kept that part. And also the part where she said her name was Ellie and that she should tell everybody that she was the one who broke her fucking finger. Yeah, they kept that same line like how it was in the video game. And while this was happening, Joel was trying to find her, and they actually kept that same interrogation scene as well, like how it was in the video game. Those scenes were kind of the most important ones for that winter season in the video game. So that's good, man. That's good that they actually kept those parts. And now that we got to the part where David and Ellie fight, but they didn't fight one-on-one, but they kept it around the same thing how it was in the video game. Like, she was sneaking around, and David actually caught Ellie. He was about to kill her, and then Ellie actually got a knife and then just stabbed him over and over again. The thing that actually made her got away was that they were about to kill her, right? They were about to chop her into little pieces. And so the thing is that Ellie told David and Troy Baker's character that she was infected, and she actually showed the mark as well. While this was happening, one of them got distracted, and then that's when Ellie, she stabbed one of David's right-hand man, and that's how she got away. And then that's when Ellie threw something to burn like the place that they were in. And that's how it was as well. It was kind of the same thing how it was in the video game as well. That's good, man. That's good that they kept it the same on the TV show. Well, if you haven't played the video games, Ellie actually got to stab David a bunch of times, and she got away. And then that's when Joe actually came and rescued Ellie from the horrible place that she was in. It was, I don't know. I had to say that part when they were hugging each other, I believe it's more impactful on the video game. I don't know. It just feels a little bit rushed, to be honest. I believe they could have made this like a 2-part episode. Like for that whole segment that happened on the video game, they could have made it for 2 episodes, not just only one. And now let's move on to episode 9. This is the final episode of season 1 for The Last of Us. And I gotta say, it's just what you expect from the video game. If you guys didn't play the video game, what you thought about it? I thought that it was good, but the part where Joe was actually saving Ellie from the surgery, I feel like he was too invincible. He wasn't struggling at all to try to find her or anything like that. He was in the hospital and he was just killing every single Firefly officer, which is crazy because in the video game, you always see him struggling, but on the TV show, they made him look so invincible. Yeah. And I like the part as well where they actually kept this giraffe scene where they actually saw the giraffes walking. I saw something on IGN that they mentioned that the giraffe was actually real. It wasn't actually CGI. I thought it was because it kind of did look like it was CGI, but IGN said so. IGN said that this was a real giraffe. So yeah, man, that's cool. That's cool that they actually used the actual giraffe for that scene. Yeah, it is what you expect from the video game. Like Joel and Ellie, they were just going to the hospital, just walking, just making conversation about what they were gonna do next. Right after Ellie gets out from that place and tries to give the world a cure. And the same thing happened on the video game where Marlene told Joel about Ellie's condition, that they needed to take out the brain for the cure and that she wasn't gonna make it. Joel said find somebody else, but then Marlene's men did not let him go. They were just going to kill him if he actually stayed. And so the only thing that he could have done is just leave. But you know, Joel, he would not have gone without a fight. This is probably maybe the most controversial part because Joel's choice that he made on the hospital is going to lead to something else on season 2. If you guys have not played the video game. Yeah. Do I believe that Joel should not have saved Ellie instead of just saving millions? For me, I don't know, man. It's hard to say. He did kill everybody in the hospital, and there's gonna be consequences on season 2 if you guys have played the video game. But if you have not, yep, something is gonna happen that maybe you might not like. If you did not enjoy season 1, then you're gonna hate season 2, to be honest. I know that Joel actually does like Ellie as his own daughter, but I have to say that he didn't make the right choice. He cares about Ellie and he sees her as his own daughter. And like this whole segment, it was a little bit different how it was on the video game. Like after he killed some man on the video game, I like the part where he actually had Ellie on his arms and then was running away, and there were still other fireflies coming after him. And the music, it was just so good, man. I wish they kept that same scene in the TV show, man. I really wanted to see that. But as you guys know, that he already killed everybody on the hospital. The only person that was left was Marlene. Yep, she was the last one left, and Joel was able to kill her. That's how it was on the actual video game itself. He killed her. They actually made it back to Tommy's. And that scene as well where Ellie asked Joel to swear to her that everything that he told her about the fireflies was true. Joel said, I swear. And that's when Ellie said, okay. That's how it actually ended for the video game. That was the most important scene, probably in maybe the whole video game. Joel actually lied to Ellie because she is still the only cure that they have found for the whole world. And maybe Ellie would have wanted to help the world. She wanted to sacrifice herself to save the world. But instead, Joel saved Ellie and let the world just be like how it is still. Yeah, man. As for me, I enjoyed the actually enjoyed more of their relationship on the video game, because on the TV show it seems like it was a bit rushed. They could have made this as a two-part thing. Like, they could have cut it in half at least. The first season, they could have stopped it probably at the part where maybe Sam and Henry died. That could have been probably the ending for season one. In a second season, they could have just probably ended right there where they were just leaving the hospital, where Joel was leaving the hospital with Ellie. That could have been probably the ending. If you guys have heard how they're gonna do The Last of Us season 2, they're actually gonna break that one into two parts. Yeah, this is crazy. I think it's good, but like I said, guys, if you did not enjoy the first season of The Last of Us, you probably might expect a little bit more for season 2. But I don't know. It's one big thing is gonna happen that is gonna change everything for The Last of Us Part 2. If you guys have not played the video games. And that's all I could say about The Last of Us. Probably we gonna get season 2 like in 2 years. Or maybe next year. I don't know. But probably it's gonna be a while. And we still haven't even heard anything about The Last of Us Part 3. It's gonna be a while when we're gonna know when they're actually gonna make that one. Because they're still creating The Last of Us Factions multiplayer game. I have actually shown a few screenshots for the factions for The Last of Us, but we haven't heard anything about The Last of Us Part 3. Yeah, man. Let's see how it actually does, man. Oh, I had to say, guys, that on March 20, that's going to be my actual birthday. I'm going to be turning 26 years old. Yeah, man. Yep. I'm going to be turning 26 years old. Just wanted to let y'all know. It's going to be on a Monday, and you guys are probably going to hear this on a Tuesday. So yeah, I'm just letting you know that my birthday already happened by the time you're listening to this. Yeah. And I also have to speak to you about this show called Animal Kingdom. TNT's Animal Kingdom. This show was good, but I feel like the hype for the show actually died around season 5 and season 6. The first 4 were very good. I've been watching the show since 2016, man, when I was in college. And my oh my, I actually finished watching the TV show last night. I watched the final episodes for the TV show finally on Amazon Prime. It was insane, man. If you guys have not seen Animal Kingdom, probably you might want to go check it out. You might want to go check out the whole show before I actually spoil the ending for Animal Kingdom. But it's a great show, man. It's a good show. It kind of reminds me of Sons of Anarchy in a way. If you guys like that show, then you probably might like Animal Kingdom. It's about a crime family that they actually just steal stuff, right? But they never actually killed anyone until one of them actually does. Now, the whole point of the whole show is just for them to survive, right? But like the person that is in charge of them is Janine Cody. She is the mother of the three sons of the three older men. She is the mother, and she is the one who runs the family throughout seasons 1 through 4. But around 5 to 6, that's when Jay takes up the big spot and just takes care of his family. Jay was actually the son of Julia. Julia was actually the daughter of Janine Cody. Janine Cody's nickname is Smurf, so I'll just reference her as Smurf. Yeah, that's her nickname, if you guys did not know that. Yeah, so Smurf actually kicked out Julia when she was a young teen because she was actually stealing money from her mom. And the crazy part is that around this time, she was pregnant and her son was about to be born. Nobody in her family actually helped her. And when she passed away, that's when Jay's family actually came in and tried to raise him as their own. They actually brought him in the family, and he was doing the same things as they were doing. Probably like in the first 30 minutes of the last episode for the show, I was kind of rooting for the three uncles against Jay because throughout the TV show, they bonded as a family and they already knew what they had to do. But Jay actually betrayed all of them, which was insane, man. It seemed like they were becoming a family and that everything was going to work out for them. And around this time, Pope was actually arrested. He was in prison, and their last job that they were going to do was actually to save Pope from being transferred to another prison. That was their plan, right? And they were going to run away from the country. That was their huge plan. Everything was going as planned until Jay never transferred the money to them individually. There's 4 of them, right? And so they actually sold almost everything that they have had. Like they sold a bowling alley, the bar they had, the gym that they own, and also all the other businesses that they own. They sold everything, and Jay was taking care of all of that. And once Craig, one of the uncles, asked Jay for how much they're gonna make, it was gonna be $5.3 million, I believe. No, it was $5.6 million for everything, and everybody was gonna get their own cut, and so it was gonna be $1.3 million that they were gonna earn, all of them. They were all gonna get that much money. But since Jay never transferred that amount to them individually, yeah, that was kind of messed up, man. It was kind of messed up because I thought he was already part of the family and that even them, they trusted Jay so much. Like they grew to like him. He was lying to his girlfriend that they were planning to kill him, which was insane, man. They never killed anybody. The only person that actually did kill was Andrew Pope Cody. He killed his brother's girlfriend, but it was because Smurf was controlling him. And to be honest, like throughout the whole time, they did not choose this life. I have to say, Smurf was the one who raised them to be this way, to be criminals. She taught them everything that they know. They didn't know nothing else. They didn't know how to actually work a 9 to 5 job. They knew only how to steal, and that was their way of thinking. And Jay never actually did transfer the money to them because his uncles and Smurf were never there for his mom when she passed away. They never helped her once, and so that was Jay's reason. Since this was years ago since I started watching the show, I kind of did forget of what happened because I was watching this show from season to season, episode by episode. That's why I was watching this TV show, and I kind of do feel like Jay was in the right because they never did helped his mother, and she was in desperate need. She even begged Andrew, which was the her twin brother that she was closest to. Andrew, aka Pope, never actually helped her. They both came out of the wound together, and Andrew was supposed to be the main one who was supposed to help his sister Julia, but he never did. And so that's why Jay feels that he needed to do that. They needed to pay, and that they were criminals. But you had to think about the other side as well. Craig had his own son and supposedly wife that he wanted to marry once he was out of the US. He never made it, which was the crazy part. He got shot while they were running away from the policeman. And so Darren, which was the youngest from the uncles, he was the only uncle that actually survived. And the thing is that he had to leave his brother, the closest brother that he had was Craig. He had to leave him close to the beach side. He left him there because there was no other place that he can leave him. Yeah, man, you kind of do feel sad about them, but also it feels like they kind of do deserve it as well in a way. This is what they were raised to do. To be honest, I had to say, yeah, it does feel sad that they did not make it. Craig and Andrew, they both did not make it out alive. Andrew actually burned the whole house by the ending of the show. He burned it with a gasoline tank, and that was the end for that whole house. That whole house was just a reminder of how Smurf treated all of them. He had to find a way to release all of that anger that he had for his mom and everything that has happened to him. So that's what he did. He burned the whole house and he just died close to the pool. And also, Jay was actually going to run away with a girlfriend that he met on this season. But since she didn't want to go with him, do you know what he did? He killed her. Yeah, it was insane, man. I do not agree with that. He should not have done that, but like how Andrew said, he is what he is. That was crazy. Like, he drugged her and he just put like some poison or something in her drink, and that's how she just died. Yeah, it was just insane. That's like the only thing that I don't agree with. Like, he should not have killed her. He should have just let her go. But like, he was going to bring her into the family, and he felt like probably that she was going to be a liability and that she was going to go tell the police about his whole family and what they were planning to do. So that's why I believe that's why he killed her. But yeah, man, overall, this whole show was good. I would say to watch Sons of Anarchy first. And if you don't like that show, then maybe you might not like this one. But to me, I have to say that I'll give the show a 7.5 out of 10. Because season 5 and 6, they were kind of slowing down. But like 1 through 4, they were so good, man. And then we also got to see Smurf in her early to mid 20s and how she was coming up with raising her kids and stuff. It was a good background, and they actually made it flow with what was going on in present time. It was good, man. It was a good show. Like I said, I have I gave this show a 7.5 out of 10. And I won't recommend it, but just watch Sons of Anarchy for a few episodes. And if you like that one, just watch Animal Kingdom. You might like that one as well. And I guess that is it, guys, for this podcast. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to follow it wherever it is you're listening to it. If you're listening to it on YouTube, Spotify, or anywhere else, just subscribe to it or follow it. And I will also say that to recommend this podcast to one of your friends or neighbors or a family member that likes to hear stuff about horror, maybe they'll like it as much as you do. And thank you again for listening to me. Like and subscribe if you're listening to it on YouTube, and also follow it wherever it is you're listening to it. And that is it, guys. Thank you so much for listening to it. As always, take care and live to the fullest. Bye.